Thank you for that again, Jen. And yes, I do love to talk about vulnerability. I love to talk about vision and a lot of these things, like you just said, empower. Not only do I love to empower people, but I have people that empower me. Coaches have coaches. People need to have mentors. Mentors have mentors, right? It's not just like somebody's at the top of the castle and they don't have to like have any support. It's like that. The bigger you grow your vision, the bigger you expand, the bigger you challenge yourself, the bigger you just push the limits and you find your edge. When you find your edge, is that one thing, two things, three things that when you get to it, you get really uncomfortable and you lock up and you don't share it with the world, right? Because you know what? If you told somebody and they told more people, then it becomes real. And then people are holding you accountable. And man, does accountability feel heavy sometimes, right? But as a lot of us have heard, nothing is heavy as regret. So I feel like I burnt up 10 years of my life, and people say, you know what? No, you didn't. You had to go through those lessons to figure out who the heck you were. Because if you didn't have that story, man, you probably have a pretty lame story. And how the hell are you going to connect with people, right? So I learned a little thing, and really comes down to figuring out who you are and what you stand for. Who you are being your values. Our dear friend Christy talks about this and values and really figuring out your core values. What are your core values? What do you stand for? Not just what sounds good on paper, not the cool fancy words that you want to just, throw out there and like, hey, you know what? Some people will really, really be attracted to me saying this, like, wow, I'm really big on integrity, right? I say I'm going to do something, I do it on time, and I follow through. Well, think about your core values. I don't want to dig too deep into them, but really think about it. Not something I like, I want to put that down, but man, somebody will judge me. Like, maybe I'm not as loving as I think, or maybe I'm not as compassionate as I feel because I didn't give money to that homeless person yesterday. No, if compassion is your thing, if you feel that gut feeling in your soul and your stomach, when you have those thoughts and those emotions, those are your values. You want to align those values then with your vision. Well, what in the heck is a vision? Right? Is it something you see? Is it something you feel? Is it something that's in your mind? Is it something you can touch? Well, it can be all of those things, right? Because our vision is our imagination. And I think when we're little kids, we start to dream, right? And we start to say we're going to be an astronaut. We're going to do all these crazy things, right? And then somewhere along the line, we get to the point where we start maturing, people judge, start learning different things in different homes and not the same qualities and traits that your family taught you. You start learning things, right? And we start poking fun at each other and we start telling that's too hard, that's too impossible. And it seems like we get further and further and further along in life, which I think I'm older than a lot of people on here, probably most of them. Joyce, yes, you are younger than me at heart. When you have that, you got life experience, right? And you just keep getting beat down and beat down and beat down and things get harder and you wasted too much time. And that's where I was at. I was like, I wasted too much time and you can't take that stuff back. So I want to say if you are able to be vulnerable and share your deepest, darkest scars, the ones that are from your past, the person that you used to be, vulnerable enough to share those dark, deep things, those emotions, those pain points, those things maybe that you just feel you can't tell anybody because it's just so embarrassing. If you can tell those things, I promise you, you will give yourself the grace and the ability to share the vision you have for your future that has not yet happened. People will judge you for the things that you say you're going to do. You come out there and boldly say, hey, I am going to do this. I'm running with it. This is my vision. I want to create freedom lifestyle, time freedom. I want to raise my family. I want to be able to travel. I don't want to ever say no because of finances. I don't ever want to be put in a box, right? Those things. If you are vulnerable enough to share your pains, you can share the highlight reel out there. And if you can connect those two to where you're comfortable with sharing that and really believing, and I promise you, if your core values and foundation are right there, nothing will shake you because everybody you see on this call, I know you've all got probably 10, 15 more people, but get your core 5. We hear that often, right? And don't always ask yourself, hey, I've heard that before. Say, how well am I implementing it? How well am I getting rid of the negative people? How well am I doing of replacing somebody that just always bitches and complains about somebody's friend behind their back? And maybe just nudging them, silencing them for 30 days and maybe saying, you know what, Fuad, man, I just been feeling your awesome energy on social media lately, man. Like, I don't know what kind of time you got, man, but I'd love to connect. And you replace 30 minutes of your day with somebody that's on fire and lit up and has a big vision. I promise you it'll reignite you. And then when those people come in there with the negative emotions, hey, why don't you spend time with me? And you'll be boldly the dark spots to share where you're going. Hey, to be honest with you, I love you. You've been a big impact on my life. But at the same time, I think my vision's bigger, man. I want to go this place. You're comfortable here, and every time I'm around you, you're pretty negative. You talk about people. You put people down. You don't have a lot of positive things to say. And being able to tell people that stuff is one of the most freeing gifts ever, right? I've had to do it a lot. And a couple of those people have come back and they've changed. And they're willing to grow. So the first thing I want to say is just be willing to grow. Now, I want to get, raising hands. Can I get a little bit dark? If we say yes, get a little bit dark. All right. So I imagine there's probably a few people on here that know someone that was given, and I'm not trying to deepen anybody's emotions, so please don't take this too personal. Somebody that was given a short period of time to live, a death sentence. Hey, you have 6 months to live, right? Now imagine if you were given a sentence, you feel completely healthy, the healthiest you've ever been in your entire life. You got some weird, crazy thing that has no signs. You can live your life freely and do whatever, but you get 6 months to the day. What would you do with those 6 months? What would you do with that? Who are you with? What are you saying yes to? What are the things you're going to say no to? Who are you going to allow into your energy in your space? Are you going to go out on a negative note? Are you going to want to be around people that make you forget that you have a 6-month death sentence and you just feel alive more than you've ever been in your life and you don't even care because you're so fulfilled? Where in the world are you? What are you eating? Who are you giving your finances back to? Who are you offering your time? Because time is the biggest thing in our life. We can't get that thing back. It's the best resource ever. So where are you? What are you doing with those 6 months? Anybody want to share? Briefly share a little bit where they're at with 6 months? Laura's looking for a unmute button, it looks like. And if you don't want to as well, like you definitely don't have to, I want you to really, really think about it.
Anybody else want to share first? Or should I just start?
Go for it.
Yeah. I would definitely be surrounded by all of the people that I love, which is all of you guys. I would love to be, if we could travel, I would love to be somewhere like on a beach or in the mountains. But you know what, if I can't travel, I can find amazing things to do here. I would just want to experience and just do all of the things on my heart and just like, I don't know, just like live in the present moment, like every single second of it, just adventuring, sharing amazing meals with people that I love, just having like good experiences.
Pretty much what you do every day, right?
It is, yeah, which is cool.
So lucky to do that, for sure.
Yeah.
That's called living in your vision right there. And your vision is always going to change. It's just like we've heard different ways of saying it, peeling the onion layers back, right? And you just peel it back and it just keeps getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter as you get to the center of it, right? And the core is what's in the core of us, right? And right now we peeled a couple onion layers back. Oh, we can't meet in person. Oh, we can't be on mountaintops together. Oh, we can't be on the beach together. Well, how about we share our lives with each other virtually, feel the energy of this, right? This is living your vision the best way you possibly can. You had a 5-day trip planned to go see Jen and you haven't left her side in freaking 3 months, right? That's living your vision. When the energy feels right and you go and you get in that, right, you don't leave it, right? Just keep peeling those onion layers back and watching your friends and do that. And if you can dig into those values, dig into the vision, what you would do for those 6 months, other than quarantine, ask yourself, what is really, really, really getting in the way from you achieving that? I promise you, you are the only barrier. And you're the only barrier telling you that your subconscious is going to control you and try to protect you. And you have all those thoughts. If you listened to Laura last week, 700,000 thoughts a day, right? And 80+% of those, I think, are negative or pre-programmed, things that have already happened in your life. So you have to rewrite your story. And the only way to do that is to tap into your future vision. Where are you going? Not where your feet are at exactly this moment. Be present, and definitely not in the past, because you can't change a damn thing about that. But if you got 6 months to live, what is holding you back from doing that? Because the way you would live that 6 months is the way that you should live your life. Because what happens next year, 6 months from now, all of a sudden you do get that sentence. You want to make sure that you are prepared to live that vision and not have to say no because of finances, not have to say no because of time, not have to say no because you just don't believe in yourself, not have to say no because you don't have anybody supporting you. So get people around you to support you. Keep tapping in, learn every single freaking day. Close your eyes, meditate. I know there's a lot of powerful people on here that know how to guide a meditation. I struggle with it myself, but every time I get on there, I get so crystal clear in my vision. I'm lit up for like 3 or 4 days, just my heart pounding. And the more you tap into it every single day, don't make it freaking agony, right? But if you get clear on that vision of what you would do for 6 months, if that's all you had to live, and you live at 6 month increments, I promise you in 3, 5, 10 years from now, if you keep peeling those onion layers back to get to that sweet core, things are gonna be sweet. And I promise there's gonna be a few of these faces on here that are gonna be real staples in your life. And there's gonna be more that you don't even know yet, that you haven't met. You have to be open to it. And the replace game comes again. Who are you willing to sub out, to sub somebody else in? Not a negative thing. Hey, you didn't meet the requirements, right? But it's just like, hey, step it up. Because where I'm going, I'm trying to find my best self. And I know that you guys are going to help me get there, because I'm going to have days where I'm like, I don't see it. Just like that time when I ran into my friend, I haven't seen him for 5 years. He saw more in me that day. Then all of a sudden, somebody saw something more on our team call. And they popped on there, right? And said, Joe, tell your story. I told them to him the day before, I thought it was in confidence, right? And they call me out the next morning. It's just because, you know what? People know the impact that we got to have. But you have to know how to have the impact in yourself. And it starts with your values, it starts with your vision, overcoming those barriers, and then realizing the impact that you all have on this world, that you all have on each other, that you all have on your families, that you influence people. People are watching you. I mean, show of hands, how many people will get a message from somebody they maybe haven't talked to, or maybe they see following their stuff and they'll just send them a message is like, hey, you're doing great. Like, wow, really proud of all the stuff that you're doing. Holy cow, you've changed so much. Which, mind you, the greatest compliment I think anybody can ever give a person is, wow, you have changed. Well, yeah, that's the point, isn't it? The reciprocal, the back opposite is, you haven't seen somebody in 10 years, like, wow, you haven't changed a bit. Oh, you're still doing the same thing. Like, I don't think you can slap somebody in the face any harder, right? Like, I want somebody to see me one day and the next day, like, man, you've changed from yesterday. Like, awesome, cool, I'm doing the right thing then. Because you know what? We're here to get better. And I just want to say one last little thing here, because I think you want to wrap this up or, you know, respect your time, but keep tapping in. Find your core 5. Like, seriously, keep finding your core 5, because if you can't figure out your vision and you're not sure of your values, I promise you the people that you're drawn to, the 5 core people you're drawn to most, they know your vision, they know your values, and they will tell you them. And when you believe it and you feel that, believe it. Somebody that isn't there, that just vibrates on negative energy, you hear them talk crap about somebody and they say, hey, you should go do this, I think you'd be great at it. Let that fly out one, you know, in one and out the other so fast that you didn't even hear it, right? But the people, Benny, Sarah, the people that you're motivated by, the people that are just driven, right, and have just deep down incredible souls, creep on them, follow them on social media. The stuff you guys put up there, like, I feed off of that stuff. Like, it reminds me of who I am. So, like, all of you guys are incredible. I don't know how to wrap this thing up. So hopefully, Laura, maybe you can wrap it up for us, because you always say just really, really intelligent things.
It's actually gonna be Jen wrapping it up, but she also says intelligent and
Oh,
amazing.
there she is. She popped on the opposite side of the screen. I thought she left us.